follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Thanks for watching on YouTube TV, listening on Sirius XM Channel 158, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, or any of our outstanding affiliates across the country. On today's program, Nick Whalen in 30 minutes, his look at the Monday Night Football game, maybe a little NBA with Nick as well. He loves that sport. Warren Sharp in 90 minutes, Week 8 reaction, and his best props for tonight, and one of the voices of the LA Dodgers, Tim Neverett, on the program. We'll talk World Series with him coming up a little bit later on. So we'll hit the Monday night game. We'll hit the World Series game. We will go over Week 9 numbers throughout this show. We have the good, the bad, and the ugly. We'll go over our best bets from the weekend as well, Paulie. 11 games on the docket yesterday, 10 blowouts. 10 blowouts. And all these overs coming in as well.
Yep. Almost every game goes over. That hadn't happened since 1990. Open up a can of whoop-ass. What happened there? Only one close game. Incredible. And we got a great email before the show. Always, ftm@vsin.com. You used to play these at the South Point. All those pleasers
Oh, my goodness.
The pleasers would have got carried out.
Yeah, the reason why.
Oh, mama.
Yeah, and you know what? They might have them down here at Circa. I've never seen them before. I guess I've never been on the lookout for them. But when we did the show in mornings over at the South Point, they had a big stack of the pleasers like right outside by the studio. And we would talk about it like every single week. Okay, so which games are going to result in blowouts this weekend? And if you did the teaser the opposite way, like a 3-team pleaser pays at 25, 30 to 1 or whatever. And then if you go 4-team, 5-team, I mean, it's astronomical.
Yeah.
Like almost every game with the pleaser, other than the 2 games where the Dogs won. Well, that even with the Dolphins, though, winning.
Right.
Because you could go that way with it as well.
Yeah, right.
It's basically you're playing alternate numbers and then combining them on a parlay. But for anybody playing those yesterday, they pretty much came in across the board.
Yeah.
It was blowout after blowout after blowout, and then depends on where you grade it. Overs were like 8, 1, and 2 on the day.
Yeah. I would say it was a winner with the Houston game, and then the Bears game's a winner considering what it went off at. But I have in the early window on the season 66% ATS covers, and then I got favorites 10-2 straight up, 13-2 straight up, 10-4 straight up going back.
Wow.
So now you're seeing a tax, I think, to get out of the teaser range or make them pay the price with the teaser range coming up on Sunday, and then you're just putting these point spreads up sky high with what's happened. And it might have been the late window, might have been the worst late window of all time.
Well, I thought
it was horrible.
Thank God for that Jets-Bengals game, and we all knew we were going to say that, right? The early window, and by the way, I'm talking about like first, second quarter, early third quarter. We're watching yesterday. We're like, these games suck.
Yeah.
There was nothing until the Jets made that comeback yesterday.
Yeah, I never would have expected that, where everything's a double digit except one.
But how about this, though, Paul?
In 1990, that says it all.
With all of that being said, I got absolutely destroyed on teasers yesterday.
Bengals got me good. That's a good one.
Falcons got me good.
Uh-huh.
Bengals got me good.
Oh, sure. The Bengals are in my ugly. How you lose that game is just all-time bad. You score 38 points. The Jets have done nothing on offense for much of the season. Woody Johnson, the owner, says it'd be nice if we can complete our pass. And then they go for the second time in 25 years, they go for 500 yards. And you blow a 15-point fourth quarter lead. And we know, because we talk about it all the time, career, when the opponent scores 21 points or more, Fields was 0-26 straight up.
Right.
It's just that defense is a travesty. And you might as well trade Hendrickson because he's no good to you anyways. You're so bad, and he's always hurt. So it's just that could be the season now for Cincinnati. And after the game, Chase threw the defense under the bus. I don't blame him. He's got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. And if you had that one in Survivor, condolences. And if you had it on a teaser as well, condolences. And I loved the run on 2nd and 10 as they're trying to win the game with a field goal, as they do the Jets a favor as well. Horrible.
Sure.
All-time bad.
Yep. Fields throws for 244. They run for 254 overall. And
Yes.
you allowed that team to score 23 points in the fourth quarter. Shameful by the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, couldn't get a first down in London. Couldn't
No.
complete a pass.
Not as bad as Atlanta getting blowing out, though, in that game.
No.
And I'm a little bit surprised that you're showing your face around here today.
Yeah, right. Okay.
After you openly mocked me on the Sunday morning tailgate show right here on VSiN yesterday.
Yeah.
After I announced to the crowd and the audience listening and watching yesterday on the show that I had 2 Survivor tickets on Atlanta, Paulie Howard all of a sudden gets cocky. I would actually say condescending with how much he liked the team.
Yeah.
Oh, Falcons you're good. You're good. Cousins going to be fine.
Good. You're good.
You have you had this bleep-eating grin on your face the entire time. I was like, is he doing this on purpose? Is he trying to jinx me live on the show? Well, kudos, buddy, because it worked.
Yep. As bad as Cousins was, Dalton might have been worse. And that's saying something. But to think that you get 2 veteran quarterbacks who come in, have seen it all, have done it all, and both of them look like they never played a game before, especially Dalton. But that is, I would say, like Frank B, I want to take all my pain at once. That is, you were never in the game.
Never.
If you were Atlanta. That horrendous game plan, Raheem Morris, again, with a horrible job. Well, the guys weren't ready to play. No kidding. But, you were dealt a bad hand with no Penix and also no London. But for Cousins to come out and they go 3 and out 4 of the first 5 drives, you can't run the football. It was the worst run defense in the league.
Yeah, and then they never really even tried with Bijan Robinson.
No, it was a bizarre game plan, and then you still think, okay, they got a shot. And then Robinson fumbles inside the red zone, and then they can't stop him.
Sure.
They couldn't get a first down against Cleveland. He had thrown 3 picks back-to-back games.
And Atlanta has a good defense.
That's another one.
I mean, season today, going into that game, they had a good defense.
Yes.
So you take Robinson off the field on a 3rd and 1. Algiers tackled right away.
Yeah.
Atlanta had to kick a field goal. After that, 1 touch for Robinson, 3 and out. After that, next drive, 0 touches, 3 and out. Miami scored again. Falcons trailed 17-3 at halftime. That was pretty much the ballgame. But I can tell you, and I have not slept since last night. I have not.
Yeah.
And
Well, you're still alive, though.
I have 1 left.
Yeah, okay.
But this is part of the reason why. I just sat there. My heart was racing last night watching the Sunday night game. And I'm like, boy, to go out this late in the season with a pick on Atlanta on 2 of them, that's an absolute backbreaker. But I will tell you that even though, and I'm not joking, I did not sleep last night because it sucked that much, losing on the Bengals would have been way worse.
Yeah.
And as I said yesterday on the show, if we did not use them in week 2 against Jacksonville, we would have shoved on Cincinnati yesterday. And to lose like that, I don't know if I'd be here today. So
Yeah.
the painful losses that we've had every single week in Survivor leading up to this point are much worse than the rip the Band-Aid off. Game's over with it like in the second quarter.
Mm-hmm. Phenomenal sequence there at the end of the game as well. The Jets score to go down 8, and then they don't get it for 2.
Right?
And then Spiro Ditas and Adam Archuleta. Boy, what a bizarre call. Why would you do that? What are the analytics? I don't know. I don't like this call at all. Oh, wait. Oh, good call. It worked. Oh, okay. Nice job, Glenn. After the
results based.
Sure. Then they cut it to 6. Bill Cowher does it every week. Just kick it. What's wrong with you? When it works, you don't hear a peep.
Sure,
and it
of course.
allowed them to win the game. But that was, I mean, Chase is right. It's just a horrible loss, and to score 38 and lose at home, and the defense is just absolutely horrendous. You mentioned the rushing attack as well, and they don't have Garrett Wilson. That's another one. And they don't have Sauce Gardner to still lose the game.
Yeah.
I know. But now you're down. You cut out half the field in Survivor now with what happened.
Yeah,
and
we are down.
Only 2 upsets. You're right. Only 2 dogs get there, but they were your big boys.
Well, they took out like 50+% of the field. We're down to 2,057, 81 pending on the Chiefs tonight. And 2 entries were taken out on the Falcons and Grandissimo. 13 left in that one. And I believe the Westgate is down to 18 right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I think it's down to 18. That's a $5,000 buy-in. But I will say this. Even getting gashed yesterday and losing 2 Survivor entries, I honestly think the worst news of the entire day was Cam Scadaboo's injury.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Horrific beat. If he had his rushing yards over for the year, you missed that by 60 yards. The kid scores another touchdown, and again, that's a look away. I even had to retweet Bill Barnwell. Don't look at the video. That was so bad. His foot is sideways.
It's like Chris Godwin last year.
Yeah.
It turned around.
Yep. And what it did to the team, the devastation, Dart looking away, whole team comes out. They cannot catch a break. Neighbors, Scadaboo. You lose the Denver game. You blow the Saints game. Oh, here we go, the future. We're going to be so good, whatever. And then it's just, Oh, that
I have
happens.
him
That
on.
was so bad.
Yep.
And then the rookie of the year. I mean, we had a good shot here.
Up in smoke.
Yeah, that's all gone.
Just like that. Boom, vanishes. And then how many guys has that happened to so far this year? The Schlesinger injury to the Browns. He's out for weeks. I have him at an awesome number. Forget about it. You can rip that up.
Right.
He was one of the short shots to win that. Scadaboo every week. We disagreed with the number on him. I have him in 4 of my 5 remaining fantasy leagues. Come on with the injuries here.
Yep.
That felt to me, I remember when Peter King was covering the league, when Deshaun Watson went down with, I think it was the blown ACL, and he was taking the league by storm. And people were chiming in from all over the country. They're like, I'm not a Texans fan, but this is devastating on many levels. And I felt that same way yesterday. Like if Peter King was still around covering the league, he would have been like, oh no, this is horrific. And people all over the country would have been chiming in, I live in this pocket or I live in this city and this is brutal because I love the guy. And you just for him to go down like that. And clearly, I mean, the second it happened, and you're like, see you next year, pal.
Yep.
Get better soon. Jeez Louise, man.
Well, I saw the look. He's like he tried to get up right away, and I'm looking. I'm like, oh boy. I saw it right away. I go, his foot sideways. Oh man.
Well, I guess now if Dart plays the entire year, it's his to lose, huh?
I don't say that.
Well, Egbuka didn't do anything yesterday.
Well, it's what a bizarre game that was.
No kidding.
That was 0-0 in the second quarter. The in play got down to 30. Got to be a change, by the way, announcement today. It's enough. Rattlers 1-13.
Yeah, get him out.
It's enough. We can't play. Put Chuck in. Let's go. It's enough already.
You took a kid in the second round.
Yes, right.
Right, we're not living in the 80s here. Guys don't have to sit for 2 years.
Yeah.
Rattler can't play.
No.
Up next, Game 3 of the World Series and Monday Night Football between the Chiefs and the Commanders. And I will give you some historical data that suggests it might not go well for Kansas City. The number's next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, some best bets coming tonight. Monday Night Football. Dabble in the NBA as well. Nick Whalen joins the program with RotoWire, and he is on the Progressive guest line. Nick, good to talk to you as always. How was the weekend for you in the National Football League?
Overall, not too bad, guys. Hit on all 3 of my big plays over at RotoWire. At the same time, I also lost a survivor entry on the Atlanta Falcons, which was just embarrassing to know what we were walking into, to talk about it all week, saying, man, I really shouldn't trust the Atlanta Falcons, to have the Philadelphia Eagles available as a pivot, to see Philly just kind of run away with that game, and Atlanta to never, ever show up whatsoever against the Miami Dolphins. That put a major damper on the weekend. But other than that, we came out relatively unscathed.
Well, Pitts had 9 catches. I mean, the thing is...
Well, we'll take that.
We'll take that. It doesn't make any sense. Giants can't stop the run. First play of the game. Bam. Okay. And then they get gashed, right? Dolphins have the worst run defense. Tua looked awful the last couple of games. They hadn't won a game on the road. And it's what happened? No game plan. Robinson can't get involved. They couldn't stop him. It made no sense.
The big disappointment for me, guys, like it's not shocking that Atlanta no-showed offensively, just because we know the Falcons do this. They did it against Carolina a month ago.
Right,
You're shoehorning Kirk Cousins in there. We get this news on Sunday morning that Drake London isn't going to play. Like, the signs were there for an Atlanta disaster, but I bought in on the Atlanta defense.
Yeah,
that's where I feel like I got burned here. I thought this was a good unit, and giving up 34 to the Miami Dolphins, that was the problem here, right? And I know they were in advantageous situations. Offense couldn't do anything, but my goodness, man, to just really put up no resistance against what has been a terrible, terrible passing game. Tua has his best game in 2 years on this defense. The whole game did shift on the Bijan Robinson fumble, though. I think if they cash in that drive, it's a 1-score game. Yep. You're able to settle down a little bit. You don't feel like you have to play as frantically offensively, but at the same time, like you said, never really making an effort to establish the run. You got the Miami Dolphins in your place coming to town, and you start the game 3 and out, field goal, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, fumble, out on downs, out on downs. Just could not have been more of a disaster. And I'll put this to you guys. Is it worse to lose a survivor entry on a game like that where by the second quarter you're out? Or is it worse to have a team, rally back like the Jets did against Cincinnati?
It's worse to be on the Bengals.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
But how bad is this? So I had 2 on Atlanta yesterday. And I submitted those after a friend of mine reached out and said, hey, I'm going to put in Atlanta on my Survivor. And this was like after the Kirk Cousins stuff was confirmed. I'm like, hey, so you want to know, Penix is not playing. He's like, oh my God, pump the brakes for a second here. Comes back, I'm going to go with the Colts. Like, yeah, probably a good move. And so I talked him off the Falcons, but I never listened to myself.
It's the worst, man. It's the worst. I mean, I think we knew we were walking into a trap, but for it to be that bad, I don't think we could have foreseen that. I mean, 213 total yards on the worst defense in football. Yeah. I was talking myself into this. Bijan will carry it 25 times. Algier will carry it 15 times. They'll rack up 250 yards on the ground. Just awful stuff.
You're going to feel worse Thursday when Henry goes for $150 on him too.
Oh, and the Ravens score 48.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so also another one here. This might be the worst Steelers defense of my lifetime. I mean, this is just abomination. How about this after the game? Hayward. There's not a lot of fight in us right now. How about that comment?
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. That was a big part of the reason I was on the Packers last night. And look, if you could have offered me to get off of that at halftime, I would have thought about it because it looked like we were going down that same road with Green Bay where they put together an impressive opening drive. They're moving the ball down the field. And then it's like, hey, we got to get Savion Williams involved. We got to get him running up the middle. We need to throw Matthew Golden an unblocked bubble screen on a big second down so we could set up a 57-yard field goal for our injured kicker. But something flipped in the second half with that Packers offense. Like we saw what happens when you have to put the ball in Jordan Love's hands. I really, part of my handicap was I thought Green Bay would be able to run on the Steelers because everybody, including the Bengals last week, is able to run on Pittsburgh. I did think Josh Jacobs looked very good. I thought Emmanuel Wilson actually gave them some more juice late in that game. But the primary reason I was on Green Bay was not because I thought the Packers were some sleeping giant offensively. It's because you cannot trust the Steelers defense. Like the only games where they've looked good is when they faced a terrible quarterback. And half of their games so far have been against either backups or rookies, or when they're forcing 5 fluky turnovers like they did in that New England game, which they absolutely should have lost. I mean, Patriots fumbled twice on the goal line in addition to 3 other turnovers. So I think this is a major, major issue for the Steelers going forward, even though that run defense held up last night. I mean, that's not been the case most weeks.
Nick Whalen, our guest, he's on the Progressive Guest Line with RotoWire. Big spread tonight. Chiefs laying it here, doubles here against Washington with no Jaden Daniels. Do you like side, total, or player props at all?
Not much for me on the side. I would probably just lean Washington. I think the hook here is big. Potential look-ahead spot for Kansas City. They have that game at Buffalo next week, so maybe we do see a bit of a letdown. And Marcus Mariota, he's not Jaden Daniels, but he's a capable backup. And I like when a team has a similar style of backup quarterback to their starter, as opposed to going from Lamar Jackson to, say, Cooper Rush week to week. Like, at least Mariota can do a kind of a junior version of what Jaden Daniels does in terms of, bringing some punch in the running game. So I won't be surprised if Washington can hang around with the receivers back. This is a game, though, that I'm looking more so to the prop market. And I would start with Mariota over 5.5 rush attempts.
Yeah.
Kansas City's defense has played really well for the last month plus, but they do have the highest scramble rate allowed in the NFL. Almost 10% of every dropback ends in a scramble, easily the highest number in the league. Could see some designed runs, of course, for Mariota as well. And you can look into those numbers and say, the Chiefs have played Hurts, they played Lamar. That does juice that stat a bit. But Russell Wilson scrambled 5 times on this defense. Trevor Lawrence ran it 10 times. Justin Herbert ran it 7 times all the way back in week 1. So I think that will be a part of the game plan for Washington. On the Mahomes side of things, I would look at the over 22.5 completions. I think he's just rolling right now. This offense is finally what they pictured it being when they added some of those complementary pieces last year. Everybody's healthy. You got Rashee Rice back involved. He went over this number last week without even playing in the fourth quarter. He's got at least 22 completions in 6 of 7 games so far. And then I want to look at Rashee Rice tonight. The props are juiced up a little bit, but Xavier Worthy over 45.5 receiving yards, I think, is a pretty friendly number.
Yeah.
Washington, not really good on defense over these last couple of weeks. They're near the bottom of the league in terms of ADOT allowed. They give up a ton of big plays down the field. So this is one where, knowing Xavier Worthy, he could hit this on 2 catches.
Yeah, for sure. And in honor of my guy, Drexel Spivey, White Boy Day yesterday with Reeves. What a performance. 51 points. The NBA has been fire here to start the season.
Yeah.
Anything you like? I was looking at Rockets team total. I think we could go for 100 against the Nets. Anything on the card tonight you like?
Yeah, well, you're right. This has been a wild first week. I think we now have like 14 40-point games in the NBA through like 5 days of action, which is insane. And, Reeves capped it off last night. Yeah, I would look at the team total for Houston. Brooklyn has been atrocious defensively, caught some breaks yesterday, I thought, in that San Antonio game where they were able to keep that a little bit closer, but that defense has been among the worst in the NBA. I'm looking at the Sixers plus 6.5 at home tonight against Orlando. No Embiid, no Paul George. The Embiid absence, I don't really know how much that matters. I mean, he was brutal on opening night. He wasn't a whole lot better in the second game. Maxey continues to play at a really high level. Ironically, the Sixers have built out like a really nice team outside of Embiid and Paul George. Like they've gotten the big decisions wrong, but they've hit on just about everything else. So I think this is actually a really competitive group. And I don't really love what I've seen from Orlando so far. It's a team that doesn't really feel like it has an offense. It's kind of a my turn, your turn type of thing. Yeah. They set out to take more threes this season, and they're second to last so far in the NBA in 3-point attempts per game. They've been the worst in the NBA in terms of 3-point percentage. So that's one where I'd look to grab some points with a home dog.
Very good. Any other player props that you're looking at tonight on the NBA card? I'll give you one. I think the ship is going to be sailing away, I think, quickly here. Derry Bird did it again last night for the Bucks. He's gone over 2.5 threes in every game at plus money.
Yep.
I think that plus money is going to get wiped out very soon.
I agree with you, man. I was on his 3-point over in the opener against Washington. Part of that is the Wizards just being the Wizards, but that's what the Bucks are going to do this season. And obviously Milwaukee off tonight, they play tomorrow, but they're going to run this kind of 4 out, run everything through Giannis type of offense. You now have a knockdown shooter at the 5 in Miles Turner. I've made the comparison almost to like the first generation of the LeBron Cavs when it was like, all right, we got nothing else. We're going to throw out, these 4 shooters, and LeBron, you're just going to kind of do everything. And that's been the offense so far. Like, I think they kind of want to replicate almost this Celtics philosophy of, we know that we're not as talented as half of the teams in the NBA right now, but we have one guy that we could depend on, and we're going to surround him with knockdown shooters. So that style of play that we've seen from Milwaukee so far this season, I think that's going to be sticky.
Very good. Nick, great spot. As always, good to talk to you. Best of luck with the plays tonight. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
There you go. Nick Whalen, RotoWire, on X at WHA, the number 1, not L, WHA number 1 EN, and he was on the Progressive guest line. You like anything tonight in the association? I'm with you. I mean, dude, this is an anti-Nets thing like we talked about yesterday quickly on the show.
Yeah.
I mean, they died down, but the Spurs had 68 or 69 at halftime last night.
Yeah. I like the Pelicans. I think the Celtics will drop to 0-4. I think the Raptors can bounce back after getting humiliated in Dallas. And I'm intrigued by, why are the Lakers home dogs to Portland? I found that line interesting.
Win some, lose some up next. You will not believe all the tickets that cashed on Tucker Kraft last night. Paulie with the details next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Good to have you on board today. Thanks for watching on YouTube TV, listening on Sirius XM channel 158 or any of our great affiliates across the country. In 15 minutes, we're going to get into the good, the bad, and the ugly from the weekend. And right now we go to the Progressive guest line as Warren Sharp joins the program. Sharp.football is the website. Warren, great catching up with you again here on a Monday. I'll begin with this. I'm holding a ticket. I'm looking right now. Drake May, 95-1 to win the MVP. I'm going to try to get a date on this for you.
Wow.
It looks like I bet that on... Give me the date on this bad boy. I'll find that for you in a second. But either way, I'm holding 95-1. How strong is that ticket looking in your opinion right now?
Well, I think you got a ton of upside in the future. Obviously, it's looking very good right now. I'm sure the price is substantially lower than that right now. But in the future, this is what I can tell you from a strength of schedule perspective, which is where I spend a lot of my time at this point in the season. The New England Patriots, yes, they've played a relatively easy schedule of opposing pass defenses to date. It's about to get even easier, though. Of their last 9 games, 6 of them are against pass defenses that rank 25th or worse. And where does Drake May stack up in terms of year 2 quarterbacks? Because if you rank the top quarterbacks of last year's class last year at the end of the season, Drake May was actually outside the top 3. He was behind Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, and Michael Penix Jr., in fact, in terms of efficiency. But if you look at year 2 quarterbacks since 2015, Drake May ranks number 2 in yards per attempt, number 2 in success rate, number 4 in EPA per attempt, and number 3 in touchdown to interception rate. And that's out of 64 qualifying year 2 quarterbacks. And that includes the only quarterbacks he's behind in terms of EPA is Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Brock Purdy, their second seasons in the NFL. So Drake May is having a groundbreaking season from year 2. He's also significantly improved his game from year 1 to year 2. Some of these other guys were really good in year 1, obviously. So it just goes to show you how great Drake May is playing, how good he can continue to play because of these pass defenses he's going to face. But then also, let's not forget, Josh McDaniels, this offense, this system that they've got there is working really well for Drake May. So I've got a lot of confidence that this can continue. They also don't really have that bell cow wide receiver 1 who they're relying so much on. It's Drake May with a lot of guys around him. The offensive line isn't superior. There's not a marquee number 1 receiver. So it's really going to come down to, in terms of, if people look back at this Patriots offense, they're going to remember Drake May is the one driving this thing big time.
I love hearing it. By the way, I made the bet on October 2nd.
Wow.
So a good 3 weeks into the season at least.
It's great value. Yeah.
Good job. Good job. I said this before you came on. It's the worst Steelers defense of my lifetime. That was so easy for Green Bay in the second half. What do you think about adjustments Tomlin can make, if there's anything he can do?
I am so disgusted, guys, with Mike Tomlin as a defensive-minded coach, as a coach who's going to come out here and be able to deal with tactics and strategy and be able to put opposing teams at a position of deficit and his team at a position of strength. How many times do we have to see Mike Tomlin's defense get eradicated, get destroyed, and carved up by any decent offensive-minded head coach or any decent quarterback? And it continually happens. I told Gil on Wednesday's show, I said, this is going to be a problem for the Pittsburgh Steelers defense because they have one of the highest blitz rates, and that might have worked against quarterbacks that don't like to get blitzed a lot, which they played a bunch of those quarterbacks so far this year, like Justin Fields and Dylan Gabriel and Carson Wentz. But it's not going to work against Jordan Love because Jordan Love ranks number 1 in success rate, number 1 in quarterback accuracy, and number 2 in EPA per attempt against the blitz. So what does Mike Tomlin do? Does he come in here with a strategy like, hey, this quarterback's actually good against the blitz, let's not blitz quite as much? No, he just rolls back what he does. They have the mantra like, do your job, do what you do. This is Steelers football. And they came out and they not only blitzed at a very high rate yet again. Guys, this was the highest blitz rate for any Pittsburgh Steelers game this season that the Steelers blitzed. And they got carved up by Jordan Love against the blitz. 12.7 yards per attempt, 3 touchdowns to no interceptions, plus 0.82 EPA per attempt. And Jordan Love had a 153 passer rating when facing that Pittsburgh Steelers blitz. All of those numbers drastically worse when the Steelers didn't blitz. If the Steelers just sat back and didn't blitz Jordan Love, they would not have gotten carved up to the tune that they did. I have no idea. I think it was 17 times they blitzed the Jordan Love Green Bay Packers passing attack, and it was unnecessary. Strategy-wise, you should have realized that before kickoff. During the game, you should have realized you need to make an adjustment because it's worse when you're blitzing and it's better when you're not blitzing. They didn't come up with the right pregame strategy. They didn't adjust during the game, and they continually get embarrassed 2 weeks in a row now. Everybody saw the embarrassing performance against the Bengals, and they were talking about it on national TV. I don't know how many people picked up on the blitzing aspect and how predictable the Steelers defense would get exposed this week, but that's why we're talking about it right now.
Yeah, and to your point about how bad that was last night and not adjusting, Warren, at one point, Love had 20 straight completions in the game. He's going to set an all-time record there. And I'm guessing like a lot of those blitzes were coming during that window.
Yeah, I mean, what the Pittsburgh Steelers in the second half gave up like 4 straight touchdown drives. I think the Packers scored almost every single offensive possession there until the very end. So it's just embarrassing for the Pittsburgh Steelers to perform like that defensively at home in a second week on primetime TV.
Yep. All right, let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Warren Sharp. Follow him on X at Sharp Football. Website is sharp.football. Tonight's game, Chiefs. Now, there's been some money here on the Commanders to drive this number down where it's at. 10 here at Circa. A lot of 10.5 still out there. Total 48.5. Your thoughts overall on this game?
My biggest question is just how does Dan Quinn end up trying to manufacture any type of pressure to make Patrick Mahomes uncomfortable? Because we know the Chiefs want to pass the football, and I just feel like statistically they're going to be able to have some success. The Washington Commanders pass defense allows 8.3 yards per attempt, worst in the NFL. The highest yards per completion at 12.9, 5.6 touchdown rate, which ranks 22nd in the NFL. And they just lost Dorrance Armstrong, who they put on IR. He led the defense in pressures and in sacks. I think that there's a weakness there that the Commanders are going to need to come out here and figure out how to possess the ball offensively, be balanced themselves, get enough out of the legs of Marcus Mariota. I mean, a lot of different quarterbacks have been having success running the football. We saw that was the recipe for the Jacksonville Jaguars with Trevor Lawrence the other week of just tucking and running with the football frequently. And other quarterbacks have had the same level of success. So is it going to be Marcus Mariota's legs on the ground? And I know they got their receivers back, but what is Washington's offense going to do to keep the ball progressing, gaining first downs and out of Patrick Mahomes' hands? Because when Mahomes has it, it just doesn't seem like he's going to be put under the level of duress to not have success down the field. Now, the only silver lining, I guess, for the Washington Commanders is that there are some injuries to the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line. Maybe they could take some advantage of that, but it feels like with a fully healthy receiving core for the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes is going to have enough time to pick apart that secondary if he so desires.
I know last week it was on the Sunday morning tailgate show. You had a great point and terrific analysis on Rashee Rice, because they made it a point. Andy Reid and the coaching staff said, no, we're going to get him involved early and often. And you said, bet his first quarter numbers over, which got there. Now overall for the game, like his numbers are 6.5 catches. Yards looks like between 65.5 and 67.5. Anything here with Rice tonight, or was that like a one-off last week?
It was a one-off because I thought they were going to get him involved early. Yep. And I think maybe his full game didn't even get there, but his first quarter did. And the issue is now I'm looking at all these receivers. They've got everybody healthy. I mean, Tyquan Thornton is down to like, a yard and a half is his receiving yard prop. It's hilarious that like this guy was like their deep threat, and now they're pricing him as a yard and a half. You've got all types of auxiliary weapons that are up. Rashard Smith is there, Tyquan Thornton, but then you got the mainstays. Marquise Brown is still there. Juju Smith-Schuster is still there. Rashee Rice is back. Everybody's up. Xavier Worthy, like Travis Kelce, Noah Gray, like everybody that you could imagine is healthy and active for the Kansas City Chiefs offense. So it's hard to kind of isolate which of those guys. Like that's what I'm saying. It's almost like Patrick Mahomes' dealer's choice. Like, what does he want to do with the football? Who does he want to get it to? Because I think he might have enough time to pick out whatever matchup he likes, and there should be a lot to like. So it's hard to narrow down which of these guys is in the best spot here. We know the Commanders struggled defending the slot, but they struggle defending receivers in general.
You got me to thinking here, and we're up against it, but if this was a Super Bowl, I don't know how many books offer this, but how many receivers will have a catch in this game tonight for the Chiefs? If you can find that, I mean, it's a good enough number. Like you said, I mean, we might have 8 guys with a catch tonight for the Chiefs.
Right. Yeah, we definitely could, especially if the game gets a little bit out of reach and they start resting some of their starters, for sure. I could see that.
Warren, love talking to you. Thanks for the time. Enjoy the game tonight.
Thanks, guys. Good luck.
You.
There you go. Again, website sharp.football, on X at sharp football. I got to look for that. Because he's spot on. Like, who do you make the case for? Well, how about all of them by just betting that prop if it's available?
That's also great on Tomlin.
Oh, yeah, very good. The good, the bad, and the ugly coming up next. I'll expand on this Drake May for MVP run because he did something yesterday. The last 6 times the quarterback went on to go and win the award.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
It's good to have you on board. Thanks for watching today on YouTube TV, listening on Sirius XM channel 158, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, or any of our affiliates across the country. In 15 minutes, we'll get into the Monday Night Football game. Here, we'll begin talking Game 3 of the World Series as we head out to the Progressive Guest Line, and Tim Neverett joins the program now. He calls games in Los Angeles for the Dodgers on TV and radio throughout the regular season. And good to talk to you, Tim. It's been a while. How you been, my friend?
Great, Mitch. Paulie, how are you guys doing?
Doing really well.
Good, sir.
Let's start here. Did you expect this series between the Dodgers and Blue Jays to go 6 or 7 games before it started? And where are you with it with it now with 2 games in now where it's been played so far?
Well, I think it's when you look at a World Series and you start on the road, if you can split, you've done your job, right? So obviously, if you can go 2-0 like they had in the previous series in the playoffs, that's just a bonus. But it's not a series till the road team wins a game, and that's what happened. So I think with 3 games in a row at home in 3 straight days, I think the Dodgers are going to be able to bang off the rust that they had from the layoff, and they should do some damage here at home, I would think, especially with the way the starting pitching has been going. But the Blue Jays are relentless in the way they swing the bat, so it's still, anything can happen. I was thinking maybe 5 at the beginning, but it wouldn't shock me if it ended up going back to Toronto.
Good point about the rust and how they got off to a slow start. I would think they get the bats going tonight. What do you expect out of Scherzer? And you knew him from his time in Los Angeles. You have an interesting angle here, maybe that the Dodgers can get something going early.
Yeah, Max is he's pretty high tempo guy, pretty high intensity. You can't talk to him on game day. I'm talking like his manager, anybody. You don't walk up to him before the game if you're a teammate and go, "Hey, have a good game tonight." He'll rip your head off. So that's just how he is. But one thing, when you see a guy like that who's got really good fastball velocity, and he's not a young pitcher anymore, he loves to throw the fastball. He likes to cut it, likes to spin it, but he likes to throw the fastball in different locations. He tries, every once in a while, he tries to sneak one right over to get an 0-1 count. And so I look at some of the guys in the Dodger lineup that love to swing at the first pitch. We've got one guy hitting 9th who's been struggling lately, and Andy Pages. He had a great season, 2nd on the team in home runs behind Ohtani. And, he was our cleanup hitter a lot of nights, 5th hitter, and now he's finding himself in the 9-hole. It wouldn't shock me tonight to see him swing at the first pitch in 1 or 2 at-bats at least against Scherzer. Maybe he gets a hit. This is a place where the Dodgers have won a lot, especially during the postseason. With Tyler Glasnow on the mound, he's been dynamite lately, and he's pitching on 10 days rest. So you got to figure he's ready to go. But yeah, this place is going to be buzzing here tonight, the first game in LA.
Yeah. How much does that rest concern you, Tim, for Tyler Glasnow going tonight? 10 days overall, because Blake Snell was so good in the postseason leading into game 1. And eventually they knocked him out of the game and got to the bullpen big time. They had 28 foul balls at one point in that game. John Smoltz said on the broadcast, and that blew me away. Can they kind of have a similar approach and results against Glasnow tonight, you think?
Well, the way they swing and the way they approach things, that's, they're trying to make contact, whether it's a foul ball or not, and they do want to get the starter out of there. They want to elevate the pitch count. They want to get the starter out there, get to the bullpen. That's going to be their game plan. That's no secret. But with Glasnow, he's been real tough, especially with runners in scoring position. I think the last 29 times with runners in scoring position, he's only allowed 1 hit. One other thing to remember, he's actually walked more guys than he's allowed hits in the postseason. He's allowed 8 walks and allowed only 7 hits. That's kind of unusual to see, but in a good way, I guess. You don't want to have the walks, but at the same time, if you're striking out that many guys and giving up fewer hits, it's got to work in your favor eventually. But they'd love to have another deep outing. You can't say the prescription is for a complete game like they had with Yamamoto 2 nights ago. But, we'd love to see, Tyler go at least 6, maybe 7 tonight. Try to limit his pitches. The Blue Jays are going to try to get the pitch count up in the 20s in the first inning if they can. But I think the Dodger bats do get going here tonight. It's a pleasant night here in L.A. The breeze is probably going to be heading out toward right center is my guess, and I think it should be kind of a hitterish night. Temperatures are a little bit warm, but pretty pleasant.
Very good. How should Dave handle the bullpen if they can make these guys work like what happened in Game 1, considering we have 3 games in 3 consecutive days?
Yeah, well, that's a good question, and that's one that'll be answered in the next several hours. But it's a matter of collecting outs, right? Where and when do they need the bullpen? What's the situation? We're going to see Emmett Sheehan come out again. Will we see Clayton Kershaw at some point?
Yeah.
Depending on the situation. I think we'll see Blake Trinan. I think we'll see Anthony Banda again, even though he gave up the grand slam. But I do think that, there's going to be a lot of mix and match right now with what's happening with the Dodger bullpen. And, again, it's a matter of matchups. It's a matter of, left, right coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And, how are they going to deal with it? All I can say is I'm glad I'm not Dave Roberts and have to make those decisions.
Yeah, no kidding. Mm-hmm. By the way, he said that Kershaw can absolutely get into a game if the situation is right. In your opinion, what is it's got to be a blowout, right? Like, it can't be a tight. I love the guy, but you can't put him in a tight game, can you?
No, I don't think you can just say, hey, we got to put this guy in, for old time's sake either. I think it's got to be the right situation. Yeah. If you're up by a number of runs you feel comfortable with and you need to cover, 5 to 6 outs maybe, or maybe just 3 outs, then that's the guy I think you might want to go to, depending on who's coming up in the order. For me, the best case scenario would be if it's the deciding game and you're up like 6-1 or 7-1, you bring him in to close it out. That'd be kind of cool there.
Not bad. All your years covering sports and working for the Dodgers as well, what you saw last Friday night, and he goes tomorrow, when I saw they put the plaque up where he hit 479, where did that rank with what Ohtani was able to do against the Brewers for you?
I think he got cheated on the 469.
Yeah, 469. Yes.
I think he got cheated on that. I've seen a couple of balls out there. A couple of years ago, I saw Fernando Tatis hit one out in left field. And out near where Ohtani's plaque is now, there are 2 of them for Willie Stargell.
Ooh.
Who hit him over 500 feet completely out. But, the thing about it is you don't have to hit it 500 feet. You just got to hit it one more and get it over the wall. They all count the same. But he's been so impressive in terms of the strength that he displays. I don't think I've never seen a player, a hitter, consistently hit the ball as hard as Ohtani does, whether it's a ground ball, line drive, or a home run. And it's no secret when he gets that ball up in the air, a certain, trajectory, that thing's going out. You can tell in about a second and a half that ball is going to go out.
Well,
but he's most impressive hitter I've seen.
Well, I'll expand on that because you have quite the resume, Tim. And not only have you called games now here with the Dodgers, the Red Sox, the Pirates as well, but you've called a lot of different sports at the pro level, at the Olympic level. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think the first time I met you, you were calling stuff at the '02 Olympics in Salt Lake City. Have you ever seen anything in any sport like this guy? My guess is absolutely not.
If you want to equate it to the Olympics, the only thing I can equate it to would be in '08 in Beijing in the Summer Games. I was in the observer seats at the Olympic Stadium, the Bird's Nest Stadium, and I watched the men's semifinals of the 100-meter dash.
I remember that.
Mm.
And Usain Bolt turned around and finished backwards. and still had a personal best. Oh. And I was like, I was sitting about the 70-meter mark looking down from the booth I was in. And that to me just absolutely 1,000% stunned me that a guy who is racing against the absolute very best in the world could finish backwards. That's how much better he was than the rest of the world.
That's a great comparison, and that's probably it, right? There you go.
Good job.
There's the analogy.
Yeah, there it is.
I forgot about that.
That's the only one I can think of offhand.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Timmy. Great to talk to you. We'll catch up soon. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I'll see you guys probably sooner than you think.
All right, Tim. Sounds good. There you go. Tim Everett.
I think that's a big part of this series now. And I know a lot of Dodger fans don't trust Dave Roberts. But you're going to have back-to-back-to-back games now. What if they replicate there was beautiful game 1. All the pitches, the walks and the strikeouts, but the foul balls. And once you got Snell out of there, all hell broke loose. And I know you want to see Sheehan. if you're a Dodger fan. You don't want to see some of these guys.
Oh, God,
so you
no.
got Sasaki banked for 2 of the 3, and maybe eighth inning, ninth inning, and 2 of the 3. But then what's the bridge? How long does Glasnow go? How long does Ohtani go? And if who you go 7th, 6th, 7th inning if you got to go back-to-back games.
Yeah. So let's say Sasaki has to go 8 and 9 tonight. Well, that wipes him off the board for tomorrow, I'm guessing, right?
Maybe, yeah. But then I got Ohtani, okay.
Yeah.
And then it's how many guys do you trust out of that bullpen?
I mean, it's Sasaki.
That's the blueprint for the Blue Jays.
Sure.
Because I don't think you're going to get much out of Scherzer. Look at his outs prop. It's 11.5.
Right.
You could say the same thing of your Schneider with the Louis Varland, some of the other guys you could be trotting out if they fall behind.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go away against Glasnow tonight. I don't think this is going to be easy for him.
Well, you mentioned both guys have the layoff.
Yeah, very true.
Max too, yeah.
All right, we'll expand on that game and also the Monday Night Football game coming up. Projections are way under at vsin.com on a star player in the Monday night game. We'll tell you who it is coming up next.